Hey, you're in the right spot. It's time for another Calvary Pursuit. I'm here with our co host, Shane McCauley. I'm Gary Vaughn, and we'll be right back. Hey, everyone. Well, it's time for another Calvary Pursuit. Are you ready for this, Shane?
I am ready.
I was thinking this week, it's kind of an odd topic, but it's a topic that I think is kind of important because we've already started the year, right? Everybody does all of their predictions of what they're going to do this year. They always want to start fresh. They want to, start doing all those, I can't even think of the word
New
for it.
Year's
Oh, there you go.
resolutions.
New Year's resolutions. I don't even do them. That's why I can't. That's why I don't know the word. I don't do them. But the point being is we're already in that point where we're getting closer to February as we're sitting here recording. I guarantee you there's a handful of people w'ho've already dropped the New Year's resolutions.
Do you know? I heard it actually on the radio about a week ago, and then I looked it up earlier today. Statistically, by January 19th, 80% of people that made a New Year's resolution is already stopped. 80% by January 19th. They call it the second Friday, Quitters Friday.
Oh, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But the truth about it, Shane, is a lot of times when you set those up, you have it all in your mind of how you're going to do it. And you always say, this is the day I'm starting. January 1st, I'm starting this. And then maybe January 1st hits, and then you're like, man, we still have a lot of holiday food. Or you still have some of those treats.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll start on the 3rd. But and then it gets to be like, well, man, we've got a birthday party to go to. Let's start the 15th.
Yeah.
You always put it off for some reason. You never really know where to start. You have a great goal in mind, right? You're sitting there in your mind, really meaning well, but no one actually knows where to start or how to start. And I think the same applies even with when we're talking about our spiritual life, right? Because you and I both know, but we plan a lot of things as we're sitting in church thinking, man, that minister had a great, or pastor really spoke to my heart today. I'm going to follow that path.
Yeah.
I'm starting today. And you mean well, and you really do mean it in your heart, but you just don't know where to start. Have you ever had that feeling in your life?
I think every day I feel like I have that disconnect almost of like, for me, I'm a very routine guy. I like when I'm in my best place, I'm in a place of routine. And Pastor alluded to it the other night or the day he was joking about it from the pulpit. But I think that it is so based on scientific studies and statistically, like mentally, emotionally, our bodies can only do so much before we tap out. Some people's emotional capacity, their mental capacity is much greater than others, but we all have capacity. We all have a certain place where it's like, I just can't do anymore. And so I think what happens is with John Maxwell says that change is inevitable, but oh my gosh, change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Change is inevitable, but growth is optional.
Okay.
And so I think that the older I get, the more I see our world changes so fast. Everything, circumstances from day to day change so much that it's inevitable. We can't control that. We can't control growth. So what happens, I think, is that when the new year rolls around, we want something new. Every single person on this earth has something. Even the most achieved, most driven, most wealthy, they all have something that they want to change about themselves.
Yes.
We all want to do something better. We want to change the way we eat. We want to lose 10 pounds. We want to read the Bible more. We want to pray more. We want to reach people. Whatever it is, I want to be a better dad. I want to be a better husband. We all have these goals that we want to improve on. And what you said, the preacher gets up and preaches and we feel great conviction and we say, I got to do better in this area. And so I think what happens is 100% our intention is good.
Mm-hmm.
I think that sometimes we overburden ourselves. We make the thing bigger than, and I was guilty of this for years. Is this year I'm going to lose 100 pounds, and for those that don't know, I was extremely overweight, but this year I'm going to lose 100 pounds. And it was the same thing every year. I'm going to go to the gym 6 days a week. I'm going to eat this many calories. And I had all these macros set up, and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And I had all this. It was a massive plan that was unrealistic to fulfill long term.
Yes.
Because I don't remember who said this, but motivation fades, but discipline stays. So creating a habit that will become natural to you is something, the only way that we can grow, right?
Yes,
because we it's like the saying that you don't eat an elephant in a day, or no, the way you eat an elephant is the one bite at a time.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
it's true.
It's like, I think what we do is we set these great big lofty expectations and these great big, I'm going to do this year, I'm going to do that. And we have a list half a mile long of all the things I'm going to achieve in 2026. When in reality, according to statistics, by January 19th, 80% of us have said, I know I can't do that. And so we just quit.
Yeah.
Instead, Craig Rochelle is a podcast guy I love to listen to, but he talks about that the power in habit. Like if you want to change something, you don't change it overnight. You just do one small thing consistently over a period of time, becomes a habit.
Yes.
And then that thing just becomes something you're used to doing. Then you can put another thing on. It's habit stacking. So then instead of trying to eat it all at one time, just do a little bit at a time. And so I think, yes, we are guilty of trying to do too much at one time, and then we end up falling off because it's just unrealistic. And that's not a bad thing. It's just we only have so much capacity with our kids and our husbands, our wives, our work, everything that life gives us. Then on top of that, to say, I got to be better.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah, no, you're totally right about that. And I'm glad that you brought that up, because that is an excellent point of the fact that we have to start somewhere, but that start doesn't have to be a giant leap.
No.
Right? You know, I like when the astronauts, you know, and going to the moon, and Neil Armstrong, you know, one small step for man, one large leap for mankind.
Yeah.
Well, that one step mattered, you know, just because there was that large leap, yes. But I think in all that, you think of the fact that we've got to get to that point. We have to have that starting point.
Yeah.
We have to do that. We can't expect ourselves to just run up and to just jump to the next thing. We have to be able to sit there like a runner. Let's think about runners, right? What do? They wait for the gun to fire before they take off.
Oh, yeah.
They have to have the patience. You know, I'm a big football fan. You're talking about an offensive line. Those guys are waiting to get hit in the mouth with 300 pounds of man against them. They're waiting. Not only are they a little bit of that fear about how hard is this guy going to hit me, but also, am I in the right place? Do I remember the play?
Yeah.
Do I remember the facts of my shoulder hurts? All this stuff going through their mind. At the same point, they've got to get down in the stance. They've got to sit there till the quarterback says, let's go.
Let's go. Yeah.
And that's the same with our lives. We may make a financial plan in our mind. We're going to save this much money a month and put it back. We're going to put this much money in our business. We're going to put this much. And as they do the financial plan at the beginning of the year, it's great and it's excellent. But then when circumstances happen, when things break down, you may plan for it, but sometimes it's a little, as you would know, sometimes it's a little bit more than you thought was going to happen. And now you're in a whole new realm. Well, if you're not willing to sit at the starting point long enough to take those small steps, you're never going to get to that giant leap, because you're going to fall down before you even get close to that next goal. And I think in our spiritual lives, there's so many things that we get discouraged about because we don't feel, all right, we already walk into it already feeling like less than. Right? Most of us do. I mean, I wish I had the confidence in my spiritual walk that I could honestly sit here and say, oh, no, Shane, I'm going to make sure, I don't know about you, pray every day, read every day.
Yeah.
I've got twice a day that I'm on my knees. This is going on. And no, it's just not the truth.
Yeah.
It's just not the truth. But does that mean that I let it destroy my world?
Right.
No, I'm not going to. And so I think that's where we're coming from here. And I think it's interesting, like you were talking about, for that just one bite at a time, one step at a time. And we have to give ourselves grace.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we have to do that because you think about the mercy that God gives us. He gives us so much mercy, but we don't even give ourselves that kind of mercy. We are harder on ourselves sometimes than we really should be, right?
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think that's the beauty of God and his love for us, is that the Bible is full of promises, and his love for us is unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
But when you read the promises, those promises are conditional. So he loves us unconditional. He paid a price on Calvary, but then the promises that he has for us is conditional. It's, you do this, and then this is what you get from it. You give, and it will be given.
Mm-hmm.
You seek, and you will find. Right? So to every action that we take, there is a reaction, but we first have to take the step. Right? So in order for us to draw closer to God, we first have to seek after him. And so I think that, throughout Proverbs, throughout the Bible really, but Proverbs specifically, when you read it, there's so much knowledge and wisdom in it about life, how we should live life. But if you read it in the context that every promise in that book is conditional, and you start reading it that way, I promise you'll see exactly what I'm telling you, that if in order to receive something, you first have to be willing to give. In order for us, we talked today about it in church, but a seed never grows until somebody plants the seed. So there has to be action on my part, and then God will honor that. And so I think when we do New Year's resolutions, when we do I don't do New Year's resolutions either. I just decide this is a habit I want to change, and I focus on one thing. I don't focus on 15 because my capacity is limited. I know that, right? So I say, this year I'm just going to do, and so for example, last year mine was that I wanted to read Proverbs every single day. There's 31 chapters in Proverbs. There's 31 days in the month. Mm-hmm. Some months are 30, but you can read a proverb a day, and throughout the entire year, you can read Proverbs 12 times. And the Bible says to anyone that wants wisdom, if he asks for it, God will give it to him liberally. Wow. And so if you want to learn how to be a better father, you want to learn how to be a better husband, you want to learn how to manage your finances, you want to learn how to be a better friend, you want to learn how to be a better leader, you want to learn whatever you want to learn, Proverbs is going to tell you how to do that. And so what better way? So for last year, mine was, I'm going to read a proverb every day. Proverbs chapter 1, I'm going to read on the first day of the month. And I did that for probably 6 months consistently every day. And then I fell off. Okay. So I still read it, but not daily, not it was the habit. I just wasn't as adamant about it. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so this year, my habit is I want to do that, but I want to be consistent all 12 months. It's something that I want to do because I know that if I can learn from the wisdom of Solomon in the book of Proverbs and those things, it's going to make me a better human being. I'm going to be able to love people better. I'm going to be able to be a better leader for my family, for my church. I'm going to be able to be a better friend. Those things are important to me. It's going to teach you how to gain wealth too. If you want to learn how to be wealthy, it's going to teach you that too. Yes. But I think that we get so wrapped up in all these great and masterful things when in reality, the only way we truly win in life is to take simple steps, because we live in a complex society. Complexity breeds stagnation. A lot of us, when we get overwhelmed, we stop. Mm-hmm. And so then instead of setting up goals where we're going to set ourselves up for failure, set yourself up for success by one simple goal. So this year, I'm just going to focus on, I'm going to read Proverbs every day. I'm going to read it every day. When I get up in the morning, I'm going to hit play on my phone, or I'm going to open my Bible, I'm going to read it. It's something that for me, it's going to do nothing but benefit me, nothing but benefit those around me. And so I think that setting a very small, realistic goal habit that you can start to teach yourself is going to, in the long run, pay off much greater than if you have 15 goals and you don't get any of them done.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. And would you say, and I think about this too, as you're talking about that, we have to kind of find ourselves in the right place to start, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think a lot of this, we mean very well, like we're talking about here, and everything that we're getting into, honestly, we can practice each of those. But environment matters, in my opinion. You have to find your place where you can do these achievable goals.
Yeah.
Like you're talking about reading Proverbs. But Shane, if you're doing this in the middle of the workday and people are calling you nonstop, people are coming in, Shane, this, Shane, hey, or Shane, that's not helping you. That you're already signing yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
You're putting yourself in an environment that is not conducive of achieving the goal that you want.
Yeah.
No matter if it's just reading one chapter, you're just kind of messing that up. And I think sometimes also when we think about doing things, we don't really consider that because I'll think about in some people's lives, even the people that they surround themselves with. It's not always conducive to what they want to be or who they want to be. Sometimes it's just the time of day they choose, or sometimes it could just be the fact that they are uncomfortable, so they don't want to continue on in that process. Well, the environment that they're setting themselves up and then beginning the process, it just never ends up being successful or progressive or anything like that for their life. And so I don't know, Shane, it's just kind of weird to me because I think to myself, why am I not successful at this certain thing that I'm planning a goal? Why? Well, I have to look back, and I remember one of the big factors is environment. And I'm not just talking about like your home but I'm just talking about in any situation where it's time of day, whether it's the habits that you're forming in your life. If you've got 6 habits and you're trying to add a 7th, which is the most positive habit, you're already, 6 to 1.
Yeah.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
You're never going to do, because those other 6 are going to be like, haha, we're outnumbered you, son.
Yeah, take up all your time.
Yeah, they're going to take up all your time. So you've got to find yourself in an environment where the habit that you want to form the most has to be the central in that environment, whether it's in your home, whether it's a certain time of day, wherever you are at that time, it's got to be the number one.
Well, you're a product of your environment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Ultimately, what you're just saying is that whatever that looks like to some, if you have to get up at 4:30 in the morning because at 6:30 your phone's going to start ringing, and whatever that looks like, I don't get up at 4:30 in the morning, but I do get up early. But my point being that is our time is so demanding, but it's the most valuable thing that we have. Your time is the most valuable thing. And so wherever you focus that energy, wherever you put the attention to, that's going to be the thing that grows the most. And so if it is trying to read the Bible, but you are trying to do it in the middle of the day when you've got people calling you and you've got a million things going, that isn't going to be very productive in growth. Even if you read it, your mind's going to be on 15 other things, so you're not going to be able to absorb what it is that you're trying to read from the Bible, or whatever the thing is that you're wanting to change. If you don't give adequate space and time to it, it's not going to matter. And Craig Rochelle, one of the things he says, the habit you create today will determine the life you live tomorrow. And so the things that you sow into today, this is all biblical too. So you reap what you sow, good or bad, it doesn't matter. So if I'm a criminal and I constantly sow into stealing, robbing banks, doing bad things, I'm going to reap a bad harvest, because the law of the harvest doesn't lie.
Yeah.
If you reap, you're going to sow. The same thing. If I'm willing to sow into things that are good and good for me, and I have to give proper environment to that, because you are a product of the environment. So if I give proper place and space to that, it's going to grow into something healthy that's going to be beneficial for me in the long run. So what does that mean? Well, if that means I have to wake up 30 minutes earlier to make sure that I can get that thing handled because it's priority, then that's just what has to happen. Well, it's not always fun.
No.
But discipline is not a fun thing.
You're right.
Right? If you want to change bad enough, change requires change. Bishop says it all the time.
Nope.
If you want to change, it's going to require you to do some things that aren't always comfortable, changing some habits that you used to deal with that were pulling you backwards. And the Bible says to lay aside every weight and the sin that does so easily beset us. So there's weights and there's sin. So weights are not sin. We know what sin is. Biblical sin is outlined in the Bible, but then there's things that are weights. And so there were times and periods in my life where, like, I don't know if this is a good example, but I'll use it, that TV and video games to me was a weight because it absorbed so much time and energy from me, that it was a thing that it was more of a distraction than it was a help. And so at a certain point I had to make the choice that, okay, I'm going to cut these things off because it's a distraction. It's pulling from, it's not conducive for growth to where I want to go. And so I think that for us, we are the product of the environment. So if you set up the environment thinking that I'm going to make all these great changes, but then you don't set up the things around you to properly do that, then it's inevitable that you will not succeed in it. And so I think that, to your point, yes, like, environment is key. It's crucial. Like, you can't change without, if you plant a seed but the ground is not ready for it, it won't grow. If you put it on a piece of concrete, it's not going to grow because it has nothing to go into. So you have to break up that fallow ground, put it in a place where it can be conducive and it can grow. And
yes.
Yeah.
It continues. You're right. You're completely right. And that's a great example. I mean, you got to water that seed. You've got to put it where it's going to get the nutrients it needs. You got to set it up for success. And that's the same what we're talking about. And as we close here, and as everybody listens to us, I wish I could say, as I've watched different podcasts, as I've watched different people, motivational speakers, you think, man, these people got it. They're smartest people. They know that. And I wish I looked smart or would have sounded smart. I know it's not the truth. But my point being is, Shane nor I have all the right answers, right? And we're talking to everybody that's listening right now. It's not like we're the geniuses here.
No.
This is something that we talk about because we want to be better.
Yeah, 100%.
We're feeding off each other here.
We're putting ourselves in a place to be better.
Yes.
In our environment, we're putting ourselves around people that want to grow.
Yes.
And so that's going to challenge me. It's iron sharpens iron.
We talked about that, right?
We put ourselves in a place to say that, look, we're not okay with the status quo. We're not okay with being stagnant. And so that's what we do.
I agree. And, as Calvary grows, we're seeing the fruits that have been built from lots of hard work, sweat, effort, the people that put time in, and just the growth in general is because the love that each of us have shown each other and shown others. And I think that's just contagious. And so anyone listening to us right now, if you want to start something positive in your life, or start reading your Bible at a certain point, like we're talking about here, take those steps that you need to take. Take the baby steps. It's not embarrassing to take baby steps, whether it's in losing weight, whether it's in like we talked about, in the spiritual things, whether it's in financial, no matter what you do.
It doesn't matter.
You've got to take the time. There's nothing embarrassing about being a snail against the hare, right?
Yeah, because the snail, if the hare passes out 2 weeks into the new year, what good is he? If the snail wins at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So little habits always win.
I love it. It's so awesome. So see, fairy tales tell you something, right? You learn something all the time. But no, this has been a great conversation, Shane. Anything you would like to share before we head out of this?
Just Craig Rochelle says that if you're not intentional about preparing for growth, then you're unintentionally preparing for decline. And so I think everything in life, Pastor Rachel, one of her favorite words is intentional. And I think there's so much to be said about it. We can do anything. You can do anything you want to do if you just take the time and energy and be intentional about it, which means every day I'm going to get up and I'm going to do this small thing every day. Yes. If I feel like it, I don't feel like it. Your motivation is going to fade. I promise you, at any point. You ask anybody that's got kids that was like, man, I can't wait to have kids, and then you have kids, and then the first or second night that you go home and that baby's crying, all of a sudden that motivation of wanting a kid has kind of subsided some, right? Like
Right.
any man that's gotten married and said, man, I can't wait to get married. I love this girl with all my heart. And then you have the first big fight and you're like, every job, every business owner, it doesn't matter the situation. Like at some point you're going to face some kind of trial. You're going to face some kind of thing that's going to make you lose motivation. But if you can set in the small discipline and say, you know what, regardless of how I feel today, I'm going to do it because it's important to me. It's important to my family. It's important to my friends. It's important to what I want to be. And so I think, you know, growth, change is inevitable. Growth is optional. So if you want to grow, it's up to you. There's no other change is going to happen. But if you want to grow, it's up to you. And so start by one little thing. Just change one little thing. Whatever that thing is, don't try to make something big. Do it little and celebrate those wins.
I love it. That's beautiful. Well, everyone, you know, I wish we had more time on this subject, and we'll cover more like this. This week we got plenty of time, but hey, we're going to let you go today, and we appreciate everyone that's joined us. We're so excited about our future podcasts we got coming up. We've got big things. Trust me. I can't share them all, Shane, because then people will want them like that. We you know, we're taking our steps too here, right? So be patient with us. But we appreciate everyone listening, and of course, until next time, make sure you're loving somebody because you just never know who might need a new beginning.
Amen.